اللهم لك الحمد وإليك المشتكى وأنت المستعان وبك المستغاث وعليك التكلان ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. اللهم لك الحمد كله أوله وآخره علانيته وسره. حق أنت أن تحمد وأنت للحمد أهل. حق أنت أن تعبد لا إله إلا أنت وأنت على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في سبيل الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اقتفى أثره واهتدى بهداه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. My brothers and sisters, today's topic is one that is concerning to us all parents and to our children. It is a topic that I consider to be one of the highest priority given the times that we are living in. It is a topic that I and other scholars and imams cannot and should not stay silent. And we must actively engage our communities and work together in order for us to find a lasting solution. If anyone does not address this topic or refuses to address this topic, then it is my opinion that they have betrayed the trust of Allah in the community. The scholars, they stated that if an imam or a scholar, if he addresses the Muslims on a subject, but they need guidance on another issue, then he has betrayed the Muslim community. And this topic is the topic of the LGBT issue. My brothers and sisters, the importance of this issue directly challenges Allah and what He has ordained. It challenges the Muslim community and what they believe in and what they hold to be value and what they detest and what they abhor. It challenges the Muslim parents and their rights to be parents and to bring them up in a manner their religion guides them. It challenges the Muslim youth and their right to be taught by their parents and what their faith teaches them and guides them and what their religion teaches to be moral or immoral. This subject cannot be addressed from an apologetic or inferior position. Why? Because we believe we are 100% right and our values and our morals are absolutely pure and they are 100% the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why should we not address it from a position of authority and superiority and with confidence? If this subject, if this matter is not addressed properly, then it will affect the future of the Muslim community here in the US and elsewhere. And maybe 50 years from now, we may not have a community because there will be no families or children to form a community. It will affect the family unit and what it means to be a man and a woman. It will affect our children and how they will turn out in our mission as a community to protect them. On September of last year, the Supreme Court ruled that an Orthodox Jewish university in New York is required to officially recognize an LGBT student group. And they passed this in a rare legal defeat for religious rights. This story, this ruling, should be deeply concerning for the Muslim community because it is a direct attack against religious freedoms in America. It is only a matter of time before certain individuals from within, certain deviants from within the Muslim community decide to file similar cases in courts and demand recognition in masjids and in Islamic schools. Imagine the Islamic school your child goes to is under pressure to hire a gay teacher, else they will be shut down and sued. Imagine the imam of the masjid comes out and says he's a homosexual, and there is nothing the masjid can do about it, because if they fire him, then he can file a discrimination lawsuit for firing based upon sexual orientation. But my brothers and sisters, before that time comes, and I hope it never comes, we as parents have an Islamic obligation to protect our children from the rainbow of this deviancy. But it is very unfortunate that parents are the ones who are actually bringing this LGBT content right into their home. And they are the ones who are supporting organizations that actively promote and teach LGBT without the parents even realizing it. Negligent parents are leaving their children to consume, quote unquote, harmless, satanic LGBT indoctrination cartoons made by Hollywood, made by Disney and Nickelodeon and Netflix. Did you all know that more than 80% of the content on Netflix is pro-LGBT, and it is available in almost every country with the exception of a few fortunate countries? Netflix is being supported by so many Muslim families in our community through their subscription. How do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question you? How do you think you will answer on the day when no one can come to your aid? While we are busy, while the Muslim communities or the Muslims amongst themselves are busy fighting over petty issues, the billionaires and the executives at Hollywood and Netflix and Disney, they are having daily meetings because they will stop at nothing to make sure that our kids accept LGBT as good and beautiful. One of the Disney executives, he vowed to have more inclusivity in its production, aggressively pushing for at least 50% of its content and cartoon characters to be LGBT. Unfortunately, some Muslim parents consider cartoons to be just harmless animation. They see some animated character moving and dancing around in an animated background and think, well, it's just a cartoon. How can a innocent-looking cartoon divert my kid from the straight path? How can a cartoon turn my child against Islam? And so they leave their kids unmonitored, left alone to consume countless hours of such content. Then their kids come to us and they say, why does Islam discriminate against these people? Love is love. One of the children's here in this community, in our Saturday Islamic schools, they said, it is not a fair God that He will prohibit two people who love each other from marrying with one another. This is not a fair Allah. He's not a fair God in order for Him to legislate such things. How did our kids get to this way of thinking? I thought our children were born innocent and straight, and upon the natural inclination and the natural disposition, upon the fitrah. Like al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, مَا مِن مَوْلُودٍ إِلَّا يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ, that no child is born except he's upon the natural instinct, upon the pure disposition. So what happened? It was their parents who played a central role in making them who they are and the way they are thinking. It was their parents who paid the subscription, paid for the TV, and paid for them to watch such content unsupervised. And the thing is, my brothers and sisters, that these cartoons and animations are designed to have a deep, lasting, psychological effect on children. They include within them cues and signals and subliminal messages that are designed to leave a certain desired impression. Look at the ongoing trope of satanic symbolisms in modern media. Does that not have an effect on people who watch them? Look at some of the effects homosexuality has on a person's psyche and the way they behave with others. The physical violence they perpetuate on others when they have the power and the authority. The psychological warfare and the battle for the hearts and minds of our children they wage. The LGBT agenda is the most intolerant, the most aggressive, and the most criminal agenda there is today. Just like their spiritual forefathers, Qawm Lut. Allah, He says, وَلُوطًا آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ تَعْمَلُ الْخَبَائِثِ إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَوْمَ سَوْءٍ فَاسِقِينَ. And to Lut, we gave judgment and knowledge, and we saved him from the city that was committing every wicked, evil, filthy, khaba'ith deeds. Indeed, they were a people of evil. They were defiantly disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What was considered abhorrent, what was considered dirty and nasty and filthy and evil, now is considered pure. It's considered something good, something to be prideful about, something to celebrate. And that's why June is known to them as the month of pride. If you dare criticize it, you become an evil person. The people of Lut, when he preached to them purity, when he talked against their lifestyle, they made fun of him and the believers. Look at what Allah, He says they did. وَمَا كَانَ جَوَابَ قَوْمِهِ إِلَّا أَنْ قَالُوا أَخْرِجُوهُمْ مِنْ قَرْيَتِكُمْ إِنَّهُمْ أُنَاسٌ يَتَطَهَّرُونَ. But the answer of his people was that they said, evict them, exile them, kick them out, leave them, cancel them. Indeed, these are men who keep themselves pure. They were intolerant to the straight ways of Prophet Lut and those that believed in him. They wished to cancel him and kick them out from their own homes and from the city and exile them from the lands. And so their spiritual descendants are no different. We see the exact same traits in them. You as a parent want to speak out against their agenda, they will go ahead and investigate you and have social workers come to your house and see if you are becoming a deterrent to the lifestyle that your 5-year-old wishes to live by. They are actively fighting the belief systems of not only Islam, but also other traditions and other religions. You have them, or you used to have them, and you still have them, accusing Islam and Muslims of female circumcision, which is an established sunnah if it is done correctly. They called it what? Genital mutilation. To defame it, to force Muslim countries that practiced it for centuries to ban it and criminalize it. Now, they are doing far worse to children under the guise of gender-affirming surgery. It is not gender-affirming surgery. It is gender disfigurement mutilation. There's a bill right now in Washington, as we speak, that will allow medical transgender interventions on minors without the parents' consent. If a 10-year-old wants to go to the doctor, they don't need consent. If any doctor right now wants to talk to my son, they even want a consent. But when it comes to gender disfigurement, mutilation, they don't need your consent. These politicians funded and backed by the LGBT Mafia want to weaken the parent-child relationship. It provides refuge homes for children who reject norms of parental obedience and guidance. These people, they insist that those who oppose such governmental policies into their private affairs be hunted down, silenced, canceled, and have their children taken away from them. They defame and they criminalize our young boys and our young girls who want to get married at a young age. They criminalize polygamy. They criminalize circumcision. They look down upon preserving honor and chastity and lowering our gazes. They see them as intolerable acts of extremism. But they are encouraging our little kids to role play masturbation in front of perverted, pedophilic educators in school. They have books, they have articles in schools and libraries where they are teaching kinky sex with full, uncensored pictures and have a detailed guide on how to masturbate. Here in New Jersey, at the Roxbury Library, the librarians are asking people to come and silence the parents who are speaking out against books that they are actively giving out and teaching, in which the fourth graders are being taught and even encouraged to give oral sex to other fourth grader boys. This is here in New Jersey. They are telling other people, come, silence these parents who wants to get rid of these books, because we are teaching fourth grader boys how to give oral sex to other boys. And they have it, and I've seen it myself, with full picture, with full description. Just like their spiritual forefathers, they want access to our children, and they will stop at nothing to silence us, to cancel us if we prevent them. Look at what Qawm Lut said to Prophet Lut alayhi salam. قالوا أولم ننهك عن العالمين. His people, when Prophet Lut wanted to prevent them from having access to certain people, his people said, are you preventing us from having access to those people? You dare prevent our access to such and such individuals? Did we not tell you you can't do that? And so just like their spiritual forefathers, these people are doing the exact same thing. My dear parents, use whatever is necessary to protect your children from the LGBT rainbow and agenda in schools, libraries, and textbooks. Protest at the education board meetings the way our Muslim brothers and sisters did in Michigan. Pull your children out of classrooms in protest, as many of our brothers and sisters did in the UK. The schools, they need you more than you need them, because their funding comes based upon classroom attendance. And so this brings me to the next message that I have for parents. Homeschool your children, or enroll them in Islamic schools. Now, yes, I agree that homeschooling is not for everyone, or that Islamic schools do not have the best setup and they are expensive, but we have no choice. Plus, it's not like the public schools are far superior in any way than the Islamic schools. We're always talking and concerned about their secular education. Just look at the result of this secular education, an education void of Allah and filled with the LGBT agenda. Would you rather have a highly educated child who questions Allah, who says Allah is not fair and is defiantly disobedient towards Allah? Or would you rather your child have an average education, yet they respect Allah, they respect Islam and the Muslims and the sanctities that Allah has set out, and behave as a Muslim child towards you and makes dua for you after your death? Homeschooling is one of the best and most effective ways for you as a parent to regain that control over your own child. It is the best way to reclaim your natural parental authority. You have control over what your child learns, and you are able to shape them in the image you see for them. You will reclaim your rightful place as the main influence in your child's life. You will be the primary caregiver. You will be the primary teacher, and you will be the primary role model. You will have the authority and the right to impart your own values to your own child, your own principles, and your own convictions. My dear mothers, you as the mother who gave birth to your child, you will also be the one who raises that child, and you will mold their personality and refine their character. It will also be you who has to stand before Allah and answer for how you raise or how you didn't raise your child. You might say, my brothers and sisters, that you are not qualified to homeschool your children. Let me tell you my personal experience. My siblings and I are all products of homeschooling. I've never been to public school since finishing the 4th grade. My mother has a 2nd grade education. My father has a 5th grade education. Yet they did whatever it took to hire tutors to teach us math and English. And so what was the result? I finished high school 1 year before everyone. This allowed me to get married while still in the university, whilst operating my own business. And I finished with honors and distinction in biochemistry. My dear parents, we live in a time of ideological warfare that is being fought for the hearts and minds of our children. My question to you is, how would you like to proceed so you can win? Would you allow others to take control of your child? Or would you stand up and reclaim your natural authority as a parent? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our children. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to safeguard them from the evils of society and make them righteous. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد عباد الله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا وارض اللهم عن الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي، وارض اللهم عن الصحابة أجمعين وعن التابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أصلح أبناء المسلمين، وأن يكتب الخير في كل بيت من بيوت المسلمين. اللهم من أراد أبناء المسلمين بسوء فأشغله في نفسه، واجعل كيده في نحره، وأدر الدائرة عليه. اللهم احفظ أبناء المسلمين من كيد الكفار والمنافقين المنحرفين يا قوي يا متين. اللهم اهد شباب المسلمين من بنات وبنين. اللهم رد ضالهم إليك ردا جميلا. اللهم جنبهم رفقاء السوء وأصحاب الفساد. اللهم جنبهم الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم اجعلنا هداة مهتدين غير ضالين ولا مضلين يا رب العالمين. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم، واشكروه يزدكم، واستغفروه يغفر لكم، واتقوه يجعل لكم من أمركم مخرجا. وأقم الصلاة وسووا صفوفكم. If I can request the brothers to please